Good evening, everyone. Today, we will be diving into the field of criminology. My presentation is designed to give a comprehensive overview of what criminology is, its core objectives, and how it helps us understand crime, the criminal mind, and the broader impact on society. So, what is criminology? Criminology is a multifaceted discipline that examines crime from various perspectives. It's an interdisciplinary field that combines knowledge from sociology, psychology, law, and forensic science to analyze criminal behavior and develop preventative strategies. In short, criminology helps us understand not only why crime happens, but also how society responds to it. Now, the main objectives of criminology include identifying the root causes of crime, such as social, psychological, and economic factors, and developing strategies for preventing it. Additionally, criminologists also examine how laws are enforced and assess their effectiveness. Another critical aspect is victimology, which focuses on understanding the impacts of crime on victims and communities. Now, talking about theories of crime, there are several major theories that criminologists use to explain crime. We have the biological theories, physiological theories, environmental theories, sociological theories. Talking about biological theories suggest that genetics or brain chemistry might predispose individuals to criminal behavior. Psychological theories focus on mental health and personality traits. Sociological theories, on the other hand, emphasize social structures and economic status, while environmental theories look at the influence of a person's surroundings, including peer groups and community culture. Now, crimes can be broadly categorized into several types, each with unique characteristics and social implications. Violent crimes include offenses like murder and assault, while property crimes focus on theft and damage. White-collar crimes, often committed in professional settings, involve fraud or embezzlement. We also see organized crimes through illegal trade and cyber crimes, which have risen significantly with technology. Let's have a deeper explanation of different types of crimes in criminology, including case studies for each type to illustrate the real world implication. So, violent crimes are offenses that involve force or the threat of force against individuals. This includes crimes such as homicide, assault, robbery, and sexual assault. If we have a look on the Ted Bundy murders, 1970s, so this case was one of the most infamous serial killers in the United States history. Ted Bundy was responsible for a series of brutal murders and assaults across multiple states in the 1970s. His crimes involved extreme violence, with Bundy often using physical force to overpower his victims. So, violent crimes are among the most severe offenses in criminology, as they involve direct harm to individuals. Ted Bundy's case is a prime example of violent crime, as his acts included both physical assault and murder. His case also highlights the psychological profile often associated with violent criminals, sparking significant studies in criminal psychology and profiling. Now, talking about property crimes. So, as we said, property crimes are offenses where the primary goal is the theft or destruction of property rather than physical harm to individuals. Examples include burglary, theft, arson, and vandalism. So, the case study was about the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in 1990. One of the largest art thefts in history. This case involved the theft of 13 pieces of artwork valued at over $500 million from a Boston museum. The heist remains unsolved, but the stolen art never recovered. So, property crimes focus on the unlawful acquisition or destruction of property. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist demonstrates the high stakes nature of property crimes, with thieves targeting valuable artwork. Despite extensive investigations, the case remains open, highlighting the challenges law enforcement faces in recovering stolen property in major thefts. Now, talking about white collar crimes are financially motivated, non-violent crimes often committed by professionals in business or government settings. These include fraud, embezzlement, insider trading, and tax evasion. So, the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme 2008 is a great example for this type of crime. Bernie Madoff orchestrated one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history, defrauding investors of approximately $65 billion. Madoff's scheme lasted decades, drawing in individuals, charities, and even financial institutions. White collar crimes involves the exploitation of trust for financial gain and often lacks the violence of traditional crimes. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme is a significant example, guys, where he manipulated investors and embezzled billions. This case shows how white collar crime can lead to financial devastation and the need for regulatory oversight in financial markets. Now, talking about organized crime. Organized crime, guys, involves structured groups engaging in illegal activities on a continuous basis. Common crimes include drug trafficking, human trafficking, and arms smuggling. The case of the Gambino crime family, 20th century, was one of the New York's most prominent organized crime families. Over decades, the family engaged in various criminal activities, from extortion to drug trafficking, becoming a central figure in American organized crime. So, organized crime involves systematic criminal activities that are often transnational. The Gambino crime family, for instance, was involved in extensive illegal operations across the United States. Their activities not only posed a threat to local communities, but also to national security, demonstrating the vast reach and complex structure of organized crime networks. Now, talking about cyber crimes, as you know, guys, cyber crimes are criminal activities carried out using computers or any digital networks. This includes identity theft, hacking, online fraud, and cyberbullying. Now, talking about the case of the Equifax data breach 2017, in one of the largest data breach. Hackers accessed personal data of 147 million Americans from Equifax, including social security numbers and credit information. The breach had far-reaching implications for data privacy and security practices. So, cybercrimes has grown dramatically with digital advancements. The Equifax breach is a significant case that impacted millions of individuals, leading to a national conversation about data security and privacy. This case underscores the vulnerability of digital systems to cybercrime and the potential for large-scale impacts on public trust. Now, moving forward, we're going to talk about hate crimes. Hate crimes are offenses motivated by bias or prejudice against a person's race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or other characteristics. These crimes often involve violence, harassment, or even property damage. Now, let's have a look on the Matthew Shepard murder 1998 case. Matthew Shepard, a young gay man, was brutally attacked and left to die in Wyoming due to his sexual orientation. His murder led to significant hate crime legislation in the United States, including the Matthew Shepard and James Bard Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act. So, hate crimes involve bias motivated violence and often have a profound impact on communities. The murder of Matthew Shepard is a tragic example, guys, demonstrating the severe consequences of prejudice. So, his case led to changes in hate crime legislation, highlighting society's need to address and prevent such crimes motivated by intolerance. Now, talking about drug related crimes, this type involved the production or distribution or even the use of illegal drugs. These offenses range from possession to large scale trafficking and often tie into organized crime. And let's have the look on the famous case of the Pablo Escobar drug cartel, 1980s, 1990s. So Pablo Escobar led one of the most notorious drug cartels, smuggling cocaine into the United States and amassing billions in profits. His cartel's influence led to significant violence and corruption in Colombia and abroad. So, drug related crimes span from personal possession to large scale trafficking. Pablo Escobar's cartel illustrates the extreme power and wealth generated by drug trafficking and its social impact, especially in terms of violence and corruption. Escobar's influence demonstrates the challenges law enforcement faces in combating powerful drug organizations. Now, what about environmental crimes? Guys, environmental crimes include illegal acts that harm the environment, such as pollution, illegal wildlife trade, and logging. These crimes have long-term impacts on ecosystems, wildlife, and human health. So, talking about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill 2010 case, uh, led to one of the largest environmental disasters, releasing millions of barrels of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. The company responsible faced significant penalties and cleanup costs. Environmental crimes impact both ecosystems and communities. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill is a notorious example where corporate negligence led to severe environmental and economic damage. This case emphasizes the need for accountability and strict environment regulations to prevent similar disasters in the future. Now, what about public order crimes? Public order crimes are offenses that violate societal norms and values but may not directly harm individuals. This category includes offenses like public intoxication, prostitution, gambling, and disorderly conduct. The New York Broken Windows Policing Experiment 1980s um, suggested that addressing minor public order offenses like vandalism and loitering would reduce more severe crime rates. In New York, this policing strategy was credited with helping to decrease crime rates, but also faced criticism from targeting marginalized communities. Public order crimes are unique, guys, because they often involve behavior seen as disruptive rather than harmful. The broken windows policing experiment in New York City focused on maintaining public order to deter more serious crimes. While this approach led to reduced crime rates, it also sparked debate on the balance between public safety and civil liberties. So, it's really important to know that each crime type has unique social impacts and law enforcement challenges, requiring tailored responses and specialized investigative approaches. In summary, understanding the various types of crimes helps criminologists, law enforcement, and policymakers develop targeted responses to each, from violent and property crimes to emerging issues like cyber and environmental crimes. So each category presents its own complexities. By studying real world cases, we can better understand the impacts of these crimes on individuals, communities, and society as a whole. Now, talking about the methods of criminological research. To study crime effectively, criminologists use various research methods, quantitative methods, including statistical and analysis and surveys, providing data on crime trends. Qualitative methods involve interviews and case studies, giving deeper insight into individual experiences. Ethnographic studies observe communities to understand crime in its social contexts, while experimental studies allow us to test specific hypotheses. So let's have a deeper overview of major research methods in criminology, each with a relevant case study to demonstrate its application. Let's start by the experimental research. So, as you know, guys, experimental research involves testing hypotheses in controlled environments to observe cause and effect relationships. In criminology, this often means studying the impact of specific interventions or policies on crime rates or criminal behavior. Now, let's have a look on the Minneapolis domestic violence experiment done in 1981, 1982. So, this experiment tested the effects of police responses on domestic violence recidivism. Researchers randomly assigned different police responses to incidents of domestic violence to see which approach was most effective in preventing repeat offenses. The study found that arrests significantly reduced repeat offenses, leading to policy changes in domestic violence handling across the United States. So, experimental research allows criminologists to test interventions in a controlled way, giving insight into what strategies may reduce crime. The Minneapolis domestic violence experiment, for example, highlighted how the approach taken by law enforcement could influence future violence in domestic situations. This study led to changes in policing strategies, showing how experimental research can have directly or direct policy implications. Now, talking about the survey research. Survey research, guys, involves collecting data through questionnaires or interviews to gather information on attitudes, beliefs, or even experiences from a sample population. In criminology, surveys can help understanding public perceptions of crime, victimization rates, or the characteristics of offenders. So, the National Crime Victimization Survey, um, conducted by the United States Bureau of Justice Statistics, uh, proved that the National Crime Victimization Survey collects data on personal and household victimization across the country. This survey provides insights into unreported crimes, allowing criminologists to understand the dark figure of crime, the gap between reported and actual crimes rate. So, survey research is essential in criminology as it captures the perspectives and experiences of a broad population, including those not reported to law enforcement. So, the national um, the National Crime Victimization Survey, for instance, reveals unreported crimes and provides a more accurate picture of victimization in the United States. By understanding the extent and nature of unreported crime, researchers and researchers and policymakers can develop strategies to address these hidden issues. Now, talking about observational research, this type, guys, involves watching subjects in their natural environments to gather data on behaviors and interactions without interfering. In criminology, observational studies are often used to understand criminal behavior, gang dynamics, or police community interactions. And we have the case of Elijah Anderson's Code of the Street, 1991. So Anderson spent years observing communities in Philadelphia to understand how urban poverty and social isolation contributes to violence. His research simply highlighted the code of street and informal system of rules governing interpersonal behavior, particularly around respect and reputation, which contributed to understanding violence in impoverished neighborhoods. So, observational research allows criminologists to gain first-hand insights into the lived realities of people involved in or affected by crime. Elijah Anderson's Code of the Street exemplifies how observing social interactions and behaviors can reveal unspoken rules like those governing respect and survival in urban environments. His work helped illuminate the social contexts and contribute to violence. Now, talking about case study research, case study research involves an in depth analysis of a single case or a small number of cases, often with complex, unique circumstances. This method helps provide a deep understanding of specific criminal events, offenders, or even responses to crime. Let's have a look on the Columbine High School shooting in 1999. So researchers have studied the Columbine shooting extensively to understand school violence and mass shootings. Case studies of Columbine and similar incidents have examined the shooters' backgrounds, motives, and social influences, providing insights that have informed prevention strategies in schools. So, case studies, guys, allow criminologists to deeply examine specific criminal incidents, uncovering complex factors that contribute to them. The Colombian shooting case study, for example, provided insights into the social and psychological elements behind school shooting. This depth of understanding has informed policies on school security and mental health support. Talking about longitudinal research. So this type of research, guys, follows the same subjects over a period of time to observe changes or development. In criminology, such type help analyze the long-term effects of early life factors on criminal behavior or the effectiveness of interventions over time. Let's talk about the Cambridge study in delinquent development, 1961 case. So this study tracked 411 boys from London over several decades to explore factors that contribute to delinquency. Researchers examined various aspects of their lives, including family background, school performance, and criminal records, finding correlations between early risk factors and later criminal behavior. So, this type of research provides valuable insights into how criminal behavior develops over time. The Cambridge study in delinquent development has shown how factors like family structure and socioeconomic status influence the likelihood of delinquency. So, this kind of research, guys, informs early intervention strategies targeting risk factors before they lead to criminal activity. Moving forward, we're going to talk about um, the meta-analysis. Okay. So the meta-analysis combines results from multiple studies in order to identify patterns, strengths, and limitations across the research. In criminology, meta-analysis helps synthesize findings on topics like recidivism, rehabilitation programs, and policing strategies. So let's have a look on the case study of meta-analysis of crime deterrence studies. One influential meta-analysis examined the effectiveness of various deterrence strategies in reducing crime rates. This analysis revealed that the certainty of punishment was a stronger deterrent than severity, influencing modern deterrence theory and criminal justice policies. So, BRAF, the meta analysis, is a powerful tool in criminology, simply, guys, because it reveals over um, overreaching trends across individual studies. In analyzing crime deterrence strategies, for example, meta-analytic meta-analytic research showed that increasing the certainty of punishment has a stronger effect than harsher sentences. This insight has shifted policies toward more consistent and visible law enforcement practices. Then we have the comparative research. The comparative research examine crime and criminal justice systems across different countries or regions. by offering insights into cultural and policy influences on crime. So, if we have a look on comparative study on gun control, the United States versus Japan, we can see that researchers have compared firearm policies in the United States and Japan to explore the impact of gun control on homicide rates. Japan's stringent gun laws and low homicide rate contrast sharply with the United States, where gun ownership and homicide rates are significantly higher. This comparative study has fueled discussions on the role of gun control in public safety. So, comparative research in criminology allows us to understand how cultural and policy differences impact crime rates. The contrast between the United States and Japan's gun policies and homicide rates, for instance, provides a clear example of how strict regulations can correlate with reduced gun violence. Such studies can guide policymakers considering new crime prevention approaches. Now, talking about secondary data analysis. So, this type involves using existing data collected by other researchers or organizations, such as police reports, census data, or crime database. This method allows criminologists to analyze large data sets without conducting new surveys or experiments. The Chicago Crime Lab's analysis of policy data is a great example here. So, researchers at the lab at the University of Chicago Crime Lab analyzed years of police data to study patterns in gun violence, helping to identify hotspots and target resources. By using secondary data, they provided actionable insights without needing to collect new data, ultimately assisting Chicago police in their response efforts. So, secondary data analysis allow criminologists to study trends on a large scale without conducting new data collection. For instance, the Chicago Crime Lab used existing police data in order to identify gun violence hotspots, helping allocate resources more efficiently. Okay, so this approach shows how leveraging existing data can lead to cost-effective and impactful crime prevention strategies. Now, talking about quality research. So, this type, guys, focuses on non-numeric data, such as interviews, personal stories, or case documents, so to gain in-depth insights. In criminology, qualitative research helps understand offender motivations, victim experiences, and community impact. The victimology studies on domestic violence survivors prove that researchers have conducted in-depth interviews with domestic violence survivors to explore the psychological and social impacts of abuse. Qualitative data from these interviews offer detailed insights into survivors' experiences and coping mechanisms, informing support programs and policies. So, qualitative research captures the human side of criminology, providing insights that numbers alone cannot. Studies and domestic violence survivors, for example, reveal personal narratives that help shape support systems and policies. These stories highlight the importance of addressing psychological impacts in addition to physical safety. So, each research method offers unique insights, contributing to a comprehensive understanding of crime and effective prevention strategies. So, brave guys, criminological research uses a variety of methods to capture different aspects of crime and criminal behavior, from experimental research in controlled settings to qualitative interview that capture personal experiences. Each method provides unique insights. Together, these methods create a well rounded framework for understanding and responding to crime, helping law enforcement, policymakers, and communities address complex issues with evidence based strategies. Well, now, talking about the application of criminology. So, criminology has direct applications in shaping policy, training law enforcement, and improving correctional facilities. Criminal profile, for instance, is often used to understand and apprehend suspects. Community programs also play a vital role in crime reduction by promoting awareness and supporting at risk groups. So, current trends, guys, in criminology reflect the rapid evolution of both techniques and the tools to combat them. So, key areas such as cybersecurity, restorative justice, forensic advancements, and the globalization of crime are reshaping the field. For example, cybersecurity and cybercrimes. As digital threats grow more sophisticated, the field of criminology is intensifying efforts in cybersecurity. Emerging threats include AI assisted cybercrimes, ransomware, and hacking targeting critical infrastructure. To counter these, law enforcement agencies are investing in artificial intelligence and machine learning to preemptively identify and mitigate threats. Moreover, data sharing initiatives between federal and local agencies are expanding, facilitating quicker response and streamlined investigations across jurisdictions. Now, technologies like open source intelligence are now critical in quickly gathering relevant information from public digital sources, enhancing response to cybercrime incidents. Talking about now restorative justice, this model emphasizes community centered rehabilitation, focusing on repairing the harm caused to victims and communities rather than punitive measures alone. Restorative justice practices, which involve dialogues between victims and offenders, are increasingly popular due to their success in reducing recidivism and promoting long term healing. This approach has gained traction globally, particularly in youth justice and minor offenses, helping to alleviate overburdened prison systems and creating a path for offenders to reintegrate meaningfully into society. Now, talking about forensic science advancement. Forensic science, guys, is evolving with innovations in DNA analysis, digital forensics, and portable lab equipment. Advanced DNA sequencing allows for quicker and more precise identification of individuals. So, new technologies like the mass spec pen and extended reality XR tools, enable real-time crime scene analysis and molecular profiling on site, which accelerates investigations. These advancements are vital in rapidly processing evidence, especially in cases involving biometrics and digital data from mobile devices and social media platforms. Now, talking about globalization of crime. So, transnational crime has become a pressing issue due to the globalization and increased cross border interactions. Criminal organizations, guys, are leveraging the global flow of goods and people, leading to complex issues like human trafficking, drug smuggling, and wildlife crimes. Consequently, international cooperation is essential, with organizations like Interpol and Europol supporting cross border investigations and data sharing. Enhanced collaboration here is necessary to tackle these crimes effectively, with initiatives aiming to harmonize legal frameworks across countries from streamlined prosecutions. So these trends underscore the need for adaptability in criminology, where interdisciplinary and cross-border collaboration is essential to address both traditional and emerging forms of crime. So today, criminology, guys, is evolving with new trends. Cybersecurity has become crucial due to the risk of digital crimes, while restorative justice aims to heal communities through non-punitive measures. Advances in forensic science, such as DNA analysis, have also revolutionized criminal investigations. So, finally, globalization has led to transnational crime requiring international cooperation to tackle issues like trafficking. Finally, to conclude, criminology plays a crucial role in helping us understand crime, develop effective responses, and build safer communities. As crime evolves, so does criminology, and it will continue to adapt to challenges such as cybercrime and global crime networks. Thank you for your attention, guys, and I look forward to any questions or discussions. So, if you have any questions, kindly leave them in the comment section below. Thank you.